Hi, I'm Charlotte Skinner and this is the first video in a 4-part video series, How to Be Yourself. How to drop the mask and become who you truly are and be able to just feel free to follow your heart. And the 4 videos and the 4 steps that I share in these videos are based completely on my own experience. When I realised that I was wearing a mask and wasn't being myself, I tried lots and lots and lots of different things, and I read so many books and tried so many techniques to break free of worrying about what other people thought of me, to try and be myself with people and to listen to my own heart when I was making decisions. And I'm sharing with you here in these 4 steps the ones which I found worked. I do hope that the things that I share in this video will help save you some time and get you started on the journey to becoming your true self. So part 1 is to become aware of why the mask formed in the first place, why you haven't felt able to be yourself up until this point. And I've always felt that understanding the root cause of something and tackling the root cause is absolutely essential. It really frustrates me in the fact that we see so often solutions being offered for things at the surface level. Like if someone's overweight, the focus is always on changing eating, but you rarely see the focus put on the reason why someone is driven to overeat. And same with overworking. If someone's stressed, it's always the focus is put on, how to do less, how to actually reduce the number of tasks, or sometimes it's about change of thinking, but it's not very often, well, what is driving this person to push themselves to the limit when other people who've got the same role maybe aren't doing that? What is the absolute root cause, and then tackle that. And so this is something that I knew I really, really wanted to find out. And when I discovered the answer, I was absolutely over the moon, because it gave me the issue that I needed to tackle to get over this mask once and for all. And so in this video I'm going to be sharing with you right now what it is that causes us to have a mask. And so I discovered this Enneagram tool, a personality tool, which describes a particular personality type called the achiever. And this personality type is most likely to have a mask, is most likely to find it difficult to be themselves. And the reason is because in childhood they interpreted the messages from their parent, the primary caregiver, that their value was dependent upon their achievements and success. And so the reason that the child got this message is if your mum or dad showed praise only for those things, put so much emphasis on those things, and didn't really show love or praise or interest in anything outside of those categories of achievement and success, and also would have put an emphasis on being polite and being respectful to others, being well behaved and well mannered. But as children we got the message that we had to be those things and we had to do those things to be good enough. In other words, we weren't good enough as we are. So we learnt we're not good enough as we are. Now, I know a lot of children get these kind of messages. A lot of parents are pushing children to do well at school, and that's quite normal. But I think the difference with people who go on to develop a really pervasive mask that affects them a lot in their life and develop into this achiever type is because one of the parents is particularly important. And in my case I can really relate to this, because my mum's love was so much more important to me, because my dad, who's got brain damage, was very violent when I was growing up. So my mum's love was so important. I hung on her every word. She was everything to me. And so when she was saying things which were implying that the most important thing I can do to get her love is to do well and to help in the kitchen and all the other sort of things. I mean, I was an absolute goody two shoes because of this situation, and I did exceptionally well through school and went on to, you know, do a master's degree and get a first in that and everything. So I really went down this achiever route, and I can see that even though my mum had the best of intentions, it was her emphasis on the achievement side of things that actually meant that I didn't follow what I wanted to do and what I was interested in, what I loved, but I followed what she wanted. And so I learned to look to other people. I learned to do what other people wanted me to do, and I learned to put on a mask to be polite and respectful and well behaved. I mean, you know, God forbid I'd swear or anything like that. And so I can really see, after reading this description of how our childhood affects the personality that we grow up with, that not only do these achiever types have a pervasive mask, but also that we push ourselves so much in our work, because if we don't work hard, we don't feel we're of any value, we feel worthless. And who wants to feel like that? Absolutely no one. So I really hope that you can relate to this, that it resonates with you, and that you think, oh, I get it, oh, now I can do something about it. Because what we need to do is to change that conditioning. What we need to do is to question, are those messages that we received from our parents that we're only worthy if we do X, Y and Z, that our value is dependent upon our success and on our achievements and on our doing well and our doing our best and working hard. Are all those things really true? And that's what we'll be doing in part 2. But before we can do part 2, if you want to carry on and do part 2 with me, then what you need to do is to identify your own messages that you receive from your mum or dad or primary caregiver in childhood that have contributed to the development of your mask, because everyone's slightly different. And the people that I've worked with, the clients I've worked with through this process, we've all seemed to share the same should. One of the shoulds is always, I should work hard. That seems to be common with everyone. But outside of that, there seem to be some variations, and it's important for you to understand exactly what went on in your childhood and how it's led you to become the adult that you've become. And so I've put a couple of exercises below this video on my blog. So if you're watching on YouTube, if you click the link that's on the screen, you'll go to my website and you'll see a couple of exercises there which will help you to identify the shoulds from your childhood and the messages that we can then tackle in part 2 to help eliminate them and free you of that mask once and for all. So I'd really like to hear your feedback and your comments. So if you have if you've resonated with this, or if you haven't, or if you've got other reasons why you think you've got a mask, or other messages that you received in childhood and your mask looks slightly different, I'd love to hear from you. If you post your comments either on YouTube or my blog, I'd be delighted to hear from you and I will respond. So get in touch, that'd be great, and I look forward to seeing you in part 2 of this video series. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll speak to you soon.